Michelle and I were brainstorming ideas of what we can do for this one, and it kind of like fell into her lap. She had sent me an email last night and said, hey, you should look at this. And I was like, wow, that actually might be a good opportunity to talk about the oil and gas industry, because I know a lot of you are probably feeling it when you pay at the pump. I know I am. And so you may not love it, but it is really good for our local economy, and it could be good if you're looking for a job. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later on. But first, I want to bring in Michelle from Workforce Solutions. Hi there, Michelle. How are you doing?
Doing well, Nick. Thanks so much for having us back. We are glad to be here on this wonderful, beautiful day. And I'm really excited because we have some good jobs and we have some really good information. People don't always think about the connections between what they're seeing out in the world and what they're paying at the gas pump, and the what that means to their job themselves and their job opportunities. So it's really exciting to be able to share that information and talk about not only some right now jobs, but some career opportunities, because the price of oil hit $90 a barrel. We haven't seen that in quite some time, and it held there for a full week. So that's a good sign. And so, you know, I, we look at, yes, we are some of the crazy people that watch the price of oil.
Oh, we are
And
not
look
crazy. You are
even
not
at
crazy.
and even rig counts. So I'm glad to be able to share that knowledge with folks today.
And before we get into it, I got to ask you, because I know you're more of a local than me. Are
Yep,
you are you pulling for Andre Johnson tonight? Do you think he's going to become the first
absolutely.
Texans player to make the Hall of Fame?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You know that I am always going to go for the hometown folks. And so it just has to be. And I say that we all put our positive energy towards that and really support making that happen.
All right, now we'll get on to now that Michelle has declared him the Hall of Fame nominee. By the way, that honors show, NFL Honors, takes place on ABC13 tonight at 7 o'clock. So hopefully we're all rooting for Andre Johnson to make the Hall of Fame. All right, Michelle, let's talk about jobs. And, there was some good news with today's report, at least from what I saw, until you tell me that I was wrong. But tell us what was in that report that came out this morning.
Absolutely. So we're going to take a look at these job numbers, because they are the claims numbers, because they are good. And just a quick reminder that our ABC13 hotline is open, and it's at 713-243-6663. It is open Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. So you don't have to limit yourself to just the time that we're on the air. I just wanted to remind folks of that. And then when it comes to the claims numbers that were released first thing this morning, in the week ending February 5th, initial claims were at 223,000. That's a decrease of 16,000 from the week prior. That is hitting those pre-pandemic levels. 225 was kind of the magic number that we were all aiming towards. And so we were below that. This is a very good sign. Here's another thing to kind of put that into context. January usually has job losses because we have lots of seasonal hiring that happens in December. So to see that that those claims numbers are dropping, that we're not still having lots of people filing for unemployment, is a really good sign. And even in the continuing claims, that remained flat. So again, still a good sign, because putting that in context of what happened the month prior, of people increasing, the number of people increasing going back to work. And even in Texas, those claims numbers decreased. And here's a funny, we've been talking about jobs for almost 2 years now, in the job market, and looking at the numbers and all of that stuff. So last week I mentioned that the national January jobs report was going to come out the next day, the next Friday. So this past Friday. And there was conflicting predictions about what was going to happen.
That's an understatement.
So some analysts were saying, okay, we're going to add 200,000. Then the folks at ADP said, oh, no, we're going to lose 300,000. Well, as it turns out, both of them were wrong. I mean, when I say that I wish I had a crystal ball, I wish I had a crystal ball. So they were both wrong. Everybody was wrong, because we ended up adding over 400,000 jobs. I think it was like 460,000 jobs in the month of January by employers all across the US. So the kind of the lesson there is that we don't know, we can't predict in good circumstances. In COVID circumstances, it makes it even harder to predict what's going to happen, even in the near term. But nonetheless, we do know that there are good jobs available, and long term, our economy is recovering. The job market is recovering. We've hit in the Houston area at least 90% job recovery. And like we're going to talk about in a little bit, even those energy sector jobs, which have been lagging, which is a big part of why the Houston area numbers are lagging behind the state and the nation in terms of unemployment and recovery. So all of these, again, continuing to be positive signs that there are good jobs available and that our future career opportunities remain positive here in the Houston area.
All right, let's talk about the employers that we have today, and I will add. I know that one of them, Baytech, I was there yesterday and got to talk to them, so that was exciting to be able to, we talk about these different industries, and I can share what my discussion was like and let people know if they're interested in that. So don't be afraid to toss it to me when we get there. So I know I'm going to throw a curveball because you don't know what I'm going to say, but it's good. So trust me. So so go ahead and let's walk people through how they can apply for today's jobs.
Absolutely. So we have 3 new employers with 63 fresh job openings this week. If you're interested in checking these out, you can reach us a couple of different ways. So if you are on social media, head on over to facebook.com/advancemycareer. If you're using the app, use the @ and then advance my career. That will get you to the Workforce Solutions Facebook page. Once you get to that Workforce Solutions Facebook page, click on the Jobs tab. It should be the second or third tab across the top, right under the big banner. Click on that Jobs tab and you'll see quite a few jobs that we are actively recruiting for this week. Once you get there, you will see the ABC13 jobs up at the top of that list. Take a look at those, and if you're interested in those, click on the Apply Now tab. Just a reminder that when you hit that Apply Now tab, that transfers your profile information over to us at Workforce Solutions. So you want to make sure that you have good contact information, both in terms of your phone number and your email address. And remember, this is for professional purposes. So make sure your email address is cleaned up, that it's not, something a little too sassy, if you know what I mean. And make sure that you have a current phone number. I know that a lot of us, like to lock down our personal information, but if you want to get connected with the recruiter, you need to have a good phone number there. So that's if you are on social media. If you're on the web, head on over to wrksolutions.com/jobs now. So again, once you get to wrksolutions.com, up at the top, there's a Jobs Now button. You can click on that. It will take you to our Jobs Now page. Again, several positions that we are actively recruiting for this week. And then over on the right-hand side are the as seen on ABC13 jobs. These are the jobs, again, where employers have asked us to really help them fill these positions quickly. They understand that with the ABC13 viewers, we have access to a really good pool of candidates, and so they are partnering with us, willing to do to make decisions quickly. So if you're looking to make a move, that's the advantage of checking out those as seen on ABC13 jobs. So once you get to those, you can click on that button. It'll take you to mytxcareer.com, and you will see the complete job description for that job. It'll tell you everything about what is required for that job. It will give you information about where that job is located. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, there's even a mapping function, so you can see if it makes sense for this particular job for you to commute that distance. If you need, for example, to be on a bus line, then it will let you know if that's accessible and such. So that's if you are on the web. start at wrksolutions.com/jobs now. And then, of course, you can always email us a copy of your resume to get started at jobs@wrksolutions.com, or you can give us a call at the ABC13 hotline, which is 713-243-6663.
And would you like to talk about some of these positions that we've got going on there, Michelle? Now that we've got
absolutely
show people how to go about and do it. And by the way, before we get into that, I always like to mention, so I've got the ABC13 viewer hotline number there. So Michelle mentioned you can call, not just now, but Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, if you need any career advice. And, you know, not just these jobs, but if you need help with resume writing, if you need help with practicing virtual interviews, maybe you've never done one, and that's kind of like the way things are right now, or say you want to learn some new education, like we're going to be talking about oil and gas, call the number, and then a number of recruiters can take that phone call and help you. And I've met a number of them. They're fantastic people, and their mission is to help you. And so they get excited when they see success when people call in. So if you need help, please call that number, 713-243-6663. Right, Michelle? That do okay?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You did perfect, because again, you know, we like to talk about elevating economic and human potential. We at Workforce Solutions see that it is our mission, our responsibility to support people in their quest to do better, to be better, because it's not just about the individuals, it's about our community as a whole, our economy as a whole. And when each one of us does better, the whole community prospers. And so I do want to start off with the training opportunities that we have. We are actively recruiting for a program that is in aerospace. It's for aerospace jobs. It's the composite manufacturing technician and the basic electrical technician. So these are free training programs. You do have to meet the screening qualifications, and you are not paid while you're in training, but you don't have to pay for any tuition for this training. It is down in the NASA area. It's out at the new spaceport facility. It's done a combination of online and on-site so that you can get the hands-on learning. And it's done in a partnership between Baytech, an economic development organization in that area, and San Jacinto College. So it's a really great training opportunity. And I definitely want to hear what you learned while you were out there this week.
So I was out there talking with the Bay Area Houston Economic Partnership president, and he told me about, you know, we ended up talking about this program because I talked about our job fairs, and he said that, you know, they've lost out on contracts and stuff because they don't have enough technicians. And so they've got we're flushed with engineers. You know, we've got great colleges here that have engineers, but they need people desperately that will make the parts, build the parts, and that's where these technician roles come in. So he said that, you know, they came up with this program, and so really, if you want a job, you will get a job. They need people desperately for this. And one thing I wanted to point out, so on the flyer, and this was a question that I've had, and I was like, what does this mean? Because it said, if male, registered in selective service. So I was like, does that mean you have to be in the military? The answer is no.
No.
All that means is if you're between the ages of 18 and 26, you have to have registered for select service, which is what you're legally supposed to do anyways. So that's all that means. You do not have to be a member of the military. It used to be they had programs where you had to be registered in the military in order to be participating. This time for this program, you do not have to be in the military to be in there. So I had saw that, and I maybe should have said something to Michelle because she could have explained it to me. But it was great because I was able to ask them. I said, listen, I've seen this on the flyer. Do you have to be in the military? And they said no. So, you know, it's a fabulous school down there. I've been out there for stories. And if you want a job, it's 6 to 8 weeks of training. If you love building things at home, maybe you're excited about the Artemis program because we're supposed to go back to the moon. It was 2024. I think it's been pushed back a little bit. But this is a way to get involved, and they're building that brand new spaceport. So that's all. I can pass it back over to you, Michelle.
Absolutely. So that's a really great point. And thank you for doing that, because sometimes we forget, and we at Workforce Solutions start talking in our lingo. And here's a little bit more explanation on that. The money that we use to provide our services, to sponsor these trainings, to provide scholarships and all of that, is almost always federal funding. So it comes from the US Department of Labor or the US Department of Education or such. And so because of that, they ask us to verify that you have done certain things. And like you said, everybody is, particularly males here in the US are required to register with Selective Service. And so they're simply asking us to verify that you've done that. You don't have to serve in the military. You don't have to be a veteran. They're just asking us to verify that you've met that obligation. And so it's really simple. You can do it online. If you haven't done it because you have an exemption, that's okay too. It just a matter of checking that box and helping us meet our obligation to the federal government. So that's really a good question, and something that we probably should spend a little bit more time on when we get a chance. But I appreciate that.
Yep. Okay, so we can go on. But so there's that program. So the information's here. You can find it on wrksolutions.com/jobs now.
Exactly. So I will go through these jobs real quickly so we can talk about those, about the price of oil and something about and talk about those jobs there. So we are looking for assemblers. These are, this is again, a mass hire position. So there's quite a few positions that are open there. If you're interested in that, that is going to be in LaPorte. I'm wrong. That's one position, and that does pay $18 an hour. We have a senior financial analyst, or a senior financial information system person. So again, you have to know numbers, you have to know computer programming, and this is with Spring ISD. So again, another good opportunity to not only get into a good job, but get into a place that has good benefits and also some flexibility, because even the administration folks get a few extra holidays off when you're working in a school system. So check that one out. We are partnering with a company called the Morgan Group. The Morgan Group manages apartment home properties. So they're looking for individuals to work at properties across the Houston area. They are, in fact, today holding an in-person event over on the west side. So if you are interested in this kind of position, they are looking to hire community managers, assistant managers. They have quite a few maintenance positions, as well as leasing consultants. And again, this is another one of those positions where you want to look not only at the job itself and the wages that it pays, but take a look at the benefits, because oftentimes when you work in these apartment home communities, you can expect to have some sort of discount. So oftentimes you don't even have to live on that exact same property, but if they manage other properties, you potentially could qualify for some discounts. So again, all of these jobs, you can check them out at wrksolutions.com/jobs now, or at the Workforce Solutions Facebook page, which is at Advance My Career.
Okay, so let's talk about oil, because
Yep.
you know, we're all feeling it when you go to the gas station and you fill up. And you know, I was talking to the guy, my coworker that makes graphics, beautiful graphics, and we were brainstorming a graphic for tonight's news. And he said to me, "Wait, does the price of oil still really impact the Houston economy? Is that still a thing?" And I said, yes. And I started to explain to him why. So Michelle, I'll let you, because you know you can speak it much more eloquently than I can. So explain how, when the price of oil, the barrel, is going up to more than $90 a barrel, how does that have a ripple effect here in Houston?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So again, Houston has diversified quite a bit. I always make the reference back to the 80s because if you're old enough, or even if you have a little bit of knowledge of Houston history, we had a big oil boom, and then we had a huge oil bust, and things went really south for the entire city because there were so many jobs that were connected to oil. And fortunately, since then, Houston has done an amazing job of diversifying our economy. Nonetheless, there are still quite a few of us who still pay attention to the price of oil and even rig counts, because the while the number of jobs has decreased, the value of those jobs is still important to the Houston economy. So in the Houston area, the average job for all jobs is about 55,000 a year, but those oil related jobs are all above average. And here's why it matters. So when you have those really good paying jobs, those salaries then support home buying, they support car buying. From that, then you have people who are providing services to either build those homes or sell the cars, maintain the cars, all of those. So then you have those secondary jobs who are then consuming groceries, consuming other packaged and finished goods. So now that's starting to support your retail jobs. And of course, all of us like to go out to eat and to be entertained. So now we're supporting then the food service and the hospitality jobs. So you see that there's this ripple effect of we have, it's not only that first tier of jobs, those are great paying jobs, and those jobs have that ripple effect to support other jobs throughout the economy, throughout the community. And then here's another thing, the as people build homes, then they start to have children. So then that's when we start talking about the education and healthcare positions, because we've seen that as we go out into those different communities, we see the more schools being built, more homes being built, more hospitals being built. So all of these things are interconnected. And even though the number of jobs is nowhere near as great as it was back in the 1980s, the value of those jobs is still very high, very important to us here in the Houston area.
And when you talk about jobs, are so the 2 years ago, oil went below zero, and now it's steadily been climbing to where it is today. Are you seeing a correlation with that climb and then the addition of more jobs? As I don't know if it was shown in the latest December jobs report for the state.
So a couple of things. It's not an exact one-to-one correlation job, but it's not an exact one-to-one correlation on the jobs for a couple of reasons. One, every time there is a slowdown, these companies become more and more lean and efficient. They begin to adapt more and more technology so that they can do more with fewer people. Nonetheless, we saw some really good signs in the December jobs report, because the mining and logging sector reported the largest December increase dating all the way back to 1990. Again, the biggest 1 month increase during the month of December dating all the way back to 1990. And it's been the strongest single increase since 2000. So those payrolls grew by almost 12,000 jobs, 11,900 jobs in the month of December, or a full 17.9% over the prior year. So it's not always a one-to-one that the pennies per gallon for a number of jobs, but it is very much interconnected, and we have several different things that are going. The other reason that it's making us really excited right now, that this mining and logging sector, and that's what it's officially called by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, but for here we usually call it oil and gas or energy. The other reason that we get excited about that is because those jobs have been slower to recover than other sectors of the economy. And remember that when we look at the jobs report each month, we're talking about where our unemployment rate is and where the jobs growth or contraction, or even the number of jobs recovered versus what was lost in March, April of 2020. And consistently, the Houston region has been slower on all of those things. Our unemployment rate has a tendency to, or since the pandemic or during the pandemic, the Houston area unemployment rate has been a little bit higher than the rest of the state and a little bit higher than the rest of the country. And largely that has been attributed to all of the uh, oil and gas jobs that were lost when the price of oil tanked in February of 2020. So we in the Houston area had two things working against us. Not only was it the pandemic, but it was also that big downturn in oil and gas. And so everybody is getting excited, me included, because we're seeing positive signs. And although you can never make a one-to-one comparison on what you pay at the pump with the number of jobs, it is a good indicator, and it's always going to be a strong correlation between what we're paying at the pump and what the Houston economy is feeling as a whole. Because again, big impact in terms of dollars into what's going on in our economy. Don't forget that we're close to the ports, we are close to the refineries, and so all of that means that it is important to be in Houston. And even Exxon showed us that Houston is still relevant in the global energy markets because they've moved their headquarters here into the Houston area. They're dedicating one of those three business lines exclusively to new energy. So yes, while oil and gas jobs are definitely rooted in Houston's past, the technology, the skills that you learn being attached to these companies and the new technology is really opportunity for the future. So yes, you always have to be mindful of your finances when you work in this industry because it is full of ups and downs. But if you are keeping an eye on the future, keeping an eye on keeping your skills fresh, keeping an eye on what's coming next, you're really setting yourself up for great career opportunities in the future.
Okay, and then real quick, so going off of that, what kind
Yep.
of positions are there? What's the pay like? And then
Mhm.
also, I know you talk about the ups and downs, but if I wanted to say tap into this, pun intended,
Yep.
how can I do that? How quickly is it? Am I going to be able to,
Uh-huh.
jump in strike while the iron's hot, or what should I need to know if I'm hearing this and the jobs are coming back? What should I need to know?
Okay, so what you want to know is that there are three categories of jobs that I put all of these into. You have the engineering occupations. This is where you'll find things like your geoscientists and your petroleum engineers that are earning upwards of 175,000 a year. So those are the engineering occupations. These are going to require 4-year degrees and beyond. Then you have the production occupations. These are the positions that are in the plants. This is uh, taking that crude oil, refining it, turning it into your gasoline and your plastics and all those other components, the chemical components that go into making other things. So these are your production occupations. You usually need a certificate. You went down to Alvin, you met some people that were training to become chemical plant operators, and they earn somewhere in the 70 to 80s per year. Finally, you have the extraction occupations, and these are the jobs where we're getting the oil out of the earth. And for example, a drill operator can earn 65,000 a year. Again, these are probably some of the most volatile jobs, but even at 65,000 a year with minimal post-secondary education, if any, some of these you can really learn on the job and just be dedicated to doing that work, it's earning $65,000 a year as compared to the average of $55,000 a year. So you can see how all of these jobs are paying well above average. And if you want to explore any of these, never hesitate to call the ABC13 hotline. Our staff will get you connected with right now job opportunities. They'll also help you explore career opportunities and help you navigate not only what those careers can be, what makes sense with what you want to achieve, but also help you navigate that path in terms of education and training to get to where you want to be.
All right, Michelle, thank you very much. I appreciate the time and your team. I didn't get to say hi to Terry, so I don't know, is she working today? The Facebook?
Terry is here.
Okay, so hello, Terry. I had to get that in. Thank you, everyone, for joining our weekly virtual job fair with Workforce Solutions. And we will be back again next Thursday. And if you want to apply for any of these jobs, you want to reach out, again, call that ABC13 viewer hotline, 713-243-6663. All right, Michelle, you have a great weekend. And we're going to be pulling for Andre Johnson tonight to be the first Texan in the Hall of Fame, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.